Welcome to this SciTube Psychology episode. Today we begin with the experiment titled Prenatal Learning, Newborn Preference for a Familiar Story. The study is associated with Anthony DeCasper and Melanie Spence, DeCasper and colleagues, and the year recorded for it is 1986-1994. Our format is simple. First we identify the experiment, then we enter the setup, then we look at what was found, and finally we connect the concept to life today. As you watch, notice how the experiment is not just a historical event. It is the doorway into a psychological concept. This experiment belongs to Chapter 3 Psychological Development. The setup is important because SciTube treats every psychological concept as something demonstrated through a method. In this case, mothers repeatedly read a story during the final weeks of pregnancy. After birth, infants' sucking responses were used to let them hear either the familiar story or a novel one. The concept being addressed is prenatal learning, auditory preference, newborn memory. Before we move to the findings, pause for a moment and make a prediction. Based on this setup, what result would you expect? That prediction makes the actual observation more meaningful. Now we reach the result. This finding provides evidence of prenatal learning, showing that the developing fetus can detect, encode, and retain recurring sounds before birth. During the final months of pregnancy, the auditory system becomes sufficiently developed to respond to voices, rhythms, and patterns of speech transmitted through the womb. When newborns later alter their sucking behavior to hear a familiar story, this indicates an auditory preference based on previous exposure rather than simple recognition of the mother's voice. The fact that the preference remained even when the story was read by a different speaker suggests that infants had learned features such as rhythm, sound sequence, and speech pattern. This experiment also demonstrates a basic form of newborn memory. Although newborns do not possess mature autobiographical memory, they can retain sensory information through implicit memory processes. Prenatal exposure may therefore help newborns recognize familiar voices, language rhythms, and environmental sounds, supporting early attention, bonding, language development, and adaptation after birth. So why does this experiment still matter? Relevant to prenatal development, early language exposure, infant-directed audio, and explaining why newborns may respond to familiar voices, rhythms, and songs. This is the point at which the video moves from the laboratory or classroom into daily life. The viewer should leave with one useful question: where do I see this concept around me today? As we close, remember the SciTube pattern. One experiment gives us one evidence-based concept, and that concept helps us understand real human behavior. Thank you for watching this SciTube video. If this experiment helped you understand psychology better, please like the video and share it with other learners. Subscribe to SciTube for more experiment-based psychology lessons, and do leave your comments, questions, or reflections below. Stay curious, keep learning psychology, and see you in the next SciTube episode.